Hello, beautiful humans. So I wanted to jump on. It's been quite a while. I've been deep doing my own work, feeling all the things that you guys are feeling, and really watching things shift and change so fast that it's hard to even stop for a minute and process what is happening. And I feel like I'm finally at a point where I'm like, okay, I I can see a bigger picture, and I just wanted to share what I'm seeing because I felt like time to jump back on and to connect with you guys and just check in because things are wild out there and things have been really hard, but also shifting and changing so quickly that it's hard to know what end is up sometimes. And so what I see happening as far as the collective awakening report, and from the perspective of this massive collective awakening that we've been experiencing, and also from the perspective of the personal awakening that so many of us are experiencing, what I see happening right now is this massive collective egoic death process that's happening on so many levels. And so I've talked a lot about personal egoic death, and there's other videos about that. And I think we're going to jump back into that maybe in some of the next videos. But so I've talked a lot about it on the personal level and how that personal individual egoic death can look and the purpose of it in our awakening process. And what I see right now happening is that on a planetary level, there is an egoic death happening because of the way that things are moving and changing and shifting so quickly. There's so much dying away. There's so much that we just have to let go of. And so many of us, probably everybody, is holding on to something. We're holding on to something that we're just not ready to let go of, whether it's, the way the world used to function or certain things in ourselves or the way our lives were, and aren't anymore for whatever reasons. And so that egoic death is pulling at us. It's saying it's time to let go of this. It's time to release this old identity. And that's so hard to do, especially when we can't see what's on the other side, when it just looks like massive destruction. And because that's what it is for a certain amount of time, it's so hard to let go when we can't see any sort of safety on the other side. And that is what's happening right now as things are falling apart on so many levels, whether it's, in the US, which is where I am, so that's what I'm seeing, but I know that it's happening across the world in different ways, in so many ways. This is not a solo experience for us. And so it can be really terrifying and really challenging because it brings up a lot of physical challenges for a lot of people, just in surviving. And that is the egoic death process. It hits on every single level. It's not just this spiritual experience. As we now know, there's no separation between all the levels of us. And so this egoic death is showing up on every single level of our life, in every part of our life, and is asking us to let go. It's asking us to trust. And that is the hardest part, is trusting that this process is happening for a reason, whether collectively or individually, and trusting that we can tap into our own inner power, that we can trust ourselves, that we can root and ground into ourselves and find the strength that we need to stand in the unknown, to stand in this place of, I don't know what the fuck is happening right now, but I'm okay with it. Because I know I've seen enough transformations in my life to know that what's on the other side of transformation is not just new, but it's also the next level. It's the next level that we need in our life to become, to step into who we really are at the highest level possible. And so this egoic death process does look super messy right now for just about everybody. And we know as the ego starts to fall away that there's a tendency to grasp for straws, to either grasp for the old or for something new to hold on to. But this process really provides nothing to grasp onto. And so if you're feeling like you're falling into an abyss, or everything is falling away and there's nothing to grab onto, or you don't know who the fuck you are anymore, what you're supposed to do on this planet, or the things that used to make sense don't make sense anymore, then know that you're exactly where you should be. You are right on point. It's the people who aren't noticing these things that I'm worried about. And that not only that, but it's not going to last forever, because this is just part of the process. And so the more that we can sink into ourselves, the more that we can trust ourselves, the more that we can do our own personal work and really ground into ourselves, ground into this planet, ground into love, ground into spirit, then we're going to be able to make that leap, because really it is a quantum leap that is happening right now. Everything is happening on this quantum level. And so it can't be any other way. There's this quantum leap that's happening. And we can work with that by letting go, by trusting, by loving, by taking care of ourselves, by being kind to each other, by listening and being open to direction from spirit. And so if you all are in this, thank you for being in it. Thank you for being here on this planet right now. And I am going to, I think, do some videos about the 5 living deaths that I talk about. I go into them in my book, but I haven't done any videos on them. So I'm going to do some videos on each of the living deaths, each of the ego deaths. So you might be able to find yourself in one of those or multiple of those ego death experiences as I go through them, and they might help you to understand a little better exactly where it is that you need to let go and what it is that you need to release in order to make this quantum leap forward. So I love you all so much. Thank you for being out there. Thank you for doing the work. And I'll see you next time. So much love. Mwah.